All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is it's October 1st, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here in the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. All right, so let's take a look at the markets today. Today was a rocking good day. How I made 16K on a 31K account. That represents 50% increase in one day. Right there. Markets are still bullish. By the way, before we get started, remember e-learning tomorrow, October 2nd, starts at noon and finishes at 3 with Rick Sadler. Okay, so you get Doug at noon. I'm gonna present at 1, and then Rick's at 2, and I'll be in that room probably from noon till 3. Listen to everybody. We'll listen to 2 presentations and giving one of my own. So I'll see everybody in the combo room there tomorrow. All right, if you don't know how to get there, ask me, but it should be right on your members page. Instead of logging into the room, look over to the right. You'll see a link to open up the combo room and get in there. All right, so let's take a look. SPY on. I like my options anyways. Okay, just saying between 30 and a $1.50. The lower the better. Not too cheap though. I don't like them too cheap, because then you don't get any movement. All right, I like my my lottery tickets. You know, when I got a trend day, like 10 cents or less. I like those, so I'm gonna just get rid of that. All right, so what do we happen to have today? I'm gonna turn on the pre-market so you can kind of see what we saw first thing, and I said I'm in. So we had price consolidating over prior consolidation in the post-market. See over here? This would be post-market. This would be pre-market. So what we had here, get the drawing tools, see if they actually work. All right, what we had here, you can see this brick of 5-minute candles. Those are 5-minute candles. See when we get the tools up here. Let's talk. Let's take a look and pick up the brick. Okay, so we had a brick right here. There's the brick. Okay, that would be consolidation. See how it stops all up there over prior consolidation right here, or prior price action. Okay, see how that is higher than that. Okay, so that's a bullish outlook coming into the morning. Not to mention we had right over here into the close, we had a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, coming into the close. So I was looking for continuation of that 10-minute uptrend that we had coming into the close. I'm looking for a continuation of that. That was a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. If you look over to the left a little further, take this out. Let's pan over to the left just a little bit here. And you can see you've got almost 4 hours here of consolidation, 4 hours here of tight consolidation, then a breakout, and then we opened up this morning early this morning, and let me see what I get for it. I just want to see what the crosshairs get. Okay, so that was earlier in the morning. We opened up over here, and then you can see we went up, formed a brick, all right, and consolidated up there. Okay, see how we consolidated right here, and then we went up, and then we formed another brick and consolidated right there. So that's a bullish movement. That's bullish price action. The gap down, not so much, but the bullish price action, building out a bull flag and then moving up, building out another bull flag. All right, so we had this consolidation right here, and I was looking for a breakout of that consolidation or of this range that we had yesterday. Okay, right through here. See all this? This is our range from yesterday, that consolidation before the breakout. So I was looking for that range breakout. So here's the ceiling in the pre-market. We've got a nice green candle that closed with some follow through. So I bought calls immediately. So if you want to see what calls I bought immediately, I already had some. Okay, not too many, but I did have some. All right, and we'll take a look at what I had right here. Okay, so I had some of those. You can see Very first candle on the 5-minute chart. It closed up there. I'm starting to buy immediately. All right, I'm trying to pick off the lows of all these candles because I want some. All right, I want this because I'm looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Nice green candle. That's a good start with some follow through. That's an even better start. Pullback, didn't make a lower low. The base held in there right here. You can see this consolidation brick right through here. Got a consolidation brick. Notice it held in there right there at that spot on the pullback. All right, and then you start, then here our 10-minute uptrend commences. All right, starts off on a 2-minute, and then it develops into a 5-minute. But here's our 10-minute uptrend commencing right here over VWAP, right after pulling back to the brick and then ripping higher. Okay, so that's what I was looking for early this morning, and I got the signals, and I just started picking off the lows of the candles. And as you can see, all I'm doing is selling off into the highs of those option candles. Okay, every time price goes up, I sell off into it. So I'll zoom in. You can kind of see it's not that impressive, but you can see I'm picking off the lows and selling off the highs. Okay, so I'm selling them for more than what I'm buying them for. Okay, remember I only got to make two cents because 1 cent goes to paying my commission. All right, and the other cent is all my profit. So just 2 cents to make profit. So I'm just picking off the lows, selling the highs, reloading, 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 selling the highs. That's all I'm doing all day. Okay, as long as my 10-minute uptrend is intact. Okay, see the 10-minute uptrend. See how you can see daylight right there? It looks like it's closing out, but it's not. All right, and then we had between 11 and noon right here. Okay, between 11, here's 11 and noon, we have a 10-minute uptrend that stays intact above VWAP between 11 and noon. So right there. Okay, so now we got the trend day. So 70% chance this 10-minute uptrend is going to stay intact till about 2:30 or 2 o'clock. Lo and behold, yes, it does. Okay, then there's a 30% chance that it closes at the end of the day of the high of the day. Well, today we were not in the 30%. Okay, so you can see it's not closing at the end of the day at the high of the day, but still very respectable for it to close near those highs up there. Not at the high of the day, but still up there, well up over VWAP. A whole lot of space between VWAP and that 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so there's SPY. So into the close, what do we got? All right, we got well, I'm just going to call it a week 2 candle. Well, it's a week 1 candle downtrend. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. It's a week 1 candle downtrend on the 10-minute chart. Okay, not really an uptrend, but not really a downtrend. Let's try this again. And let's go with the 10-minute. Somehow I feel like I'm missing something. There we go. Okay, so it's a week 1 candle downtrend right there. All right, on the 2-hour chart. Okay, definitely 2-hour uptrend. See the candle bars and the 3, okay, are up over the ADMA. Okay, so 2-hour uptrend going into the close. And you know what my favorite trade is? I know you guys have all heard it once, but there might be some new people listening for the very first time, and I really hope there is. I do. All right, so my favorite trade is 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, of course we got that today. Okay, that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. This is VWAP, this burnt brown line. Okay, you can see the 3. See how the price candles ride on the 3. All right, and you can see space between the 3 and the 8. The 8 is this white line here, and then you got space between the 8 and the 17. That's those green dots. Okay, all the way from like almost from the open all the way up until the close. And you can see this separates from VWAP right there. Okay, so I like it when that 10-minute uptrend moves up and away and separates itself from VWAP. There's where the money's made. All right, anytime you see that, rest assured some BYOB trader is making some money. Okay, if it's in SPY or QQQ. If you see this in this right here, the space between that 10-minute uptrend and the 17 and the VWAP right here. I'm going to tell you, there's some BYOB trader making some money right there, right then. All right, that just goes for SPY or QQQ. So I like the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, but I like it when it's inside the 2-hour uptrend. So I like it when it resides inside this 2-hour uptrend. And then I like it when that 2-hour uptrend also in a daily uptrend. You can see right there all the green dots. We got a daily uptrend still. All right, so, and I like it when the daily uptrend's in a weekly uptrend. Okay, and then that's weekly uptrends in the monthly uptrend. So what you see, he's got a little 10-minute uptrend, okay, that probably started out as a 1-minute uptrend, but eventually transitioned, you know, into a 2-minute, a 5-minute, a 10-minute, okay, which then develops into maybe a 2-hour uptrend. But anyways, we had a 2-hour uptrend, and inside that 2-hour uptrend, we might find maybe a couple of little segments of 10-minute uptrends in there. But I like it because I got all the bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend, okay? That's what I like, okay? I'm not a big fan of going counter trend because counter trend, let me just say, they'll take your lunch money, all right? Try to stay with the trend. Let me just say, it was easy. Was it, I'm going to go to the room, okay? Was it easy today to make money in the room? All right? I want to see like 2,000 yeses, all right? It was easy today to make money in the room. Okay? It couldn't be any easier. Yes. Fahad says yes. Tech says 2K yes. See that? I'm telling you, it was easy when you stay with the trend. Judy says yes. Scott says yes. Okay? All right? It's easy when you stay with the trend. All right? So trust me when I say that's my favorite. Okay? That's why. Because my life was easy. It was a piece of cake, all right? It was easy, all right? There's nothing worse than trying to fight the trend, all right? That's not easy. That's work. This was easy. All we had to do was, oh my gosh, all we had to do was just fall in, all right? It just kept going and going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. All you had to do was just fall in. That's it. I mean, you could have tripped and fell in and still made money. All right? That's all you had to do was just fall in. That's it. And you would have made money. All right? Unless you got in at like 3 o'clock and then well, you know, come on, you know. It's not the same, all right? But I mean, you got that 10-minute uptrend, just fall in. I mean, it was there all day for us. Okay, so there's SPY. All right, so you can see on the daily chart, I'm going to back way out, and I'm going to get the scratch. I want everybody to see this. Okay, so this is the beginning, April, right here. All right, there's quadrant 4, that's the top. And by the way, SPY made a new all-time high today, okay, in case you didn't know that. So SPY makes a new all-time high. And we closed pretty darn near the highs up there. Look at that green candle. I mean, we did close pretty darn close to the highs up there. So there's SPY. It got a lower low and a higher high, but closed with an all-time high right up there on SPY. All right, so that was a beautiful day. That was easy. It was an easy day. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ. Oh, yeah, Judy says also QQQ. And SPX made a new all-time. Rick gives me the smiley face with the thumbs up, meaning yes, it was easy today, okay? Everybody's confirming that it was easy. QQQ, all right? Hey, you know what? I'm no different. I like QQQ the same way. I like that 10-minute uptrend. All right, you can see the candles right here, all right? And you can see the space between the 3 and the 8. The 3 is this yellow line, and the 8 is the white line right here. All right, and you can see it rising. Here's VWAP, that burnt brown line. Okay, and like I said, if you see this in QQQ, rest assured some BYOB trader is making some money. Every time you see this, where it's ripping up and away like that, they're trading it. Okay, so there's QQQ on a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. I mean, if you came to the morning blog and you listened to the morning video, you would see, I must have said it 5-8 times, okay, that I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. And then I said I especially like when they're peeling up and away from VWAP, or down and away from VWAP. Okay, so there's QQQ, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP right there. On the 2-hour chart, let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. Got a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Okay, for QQQ had a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close yesterday. You can see with that big green candle, 2-hour uptrend coming into the close on QQQ. Again, on QQQ, I like it when that 10-minute uptrend, all right, is residing or originates inside of a 2-hour uptrend. Okay, that resides inside of a daily uptrend, inside of a weekly uptrend, inside of a monthly uptrend. Okay, you got all those bigger time frames supporting that 10-minute uptrend. Okay, they tend to go further, they tend to last longer. Okay, that's important to me. That's why I picked the 10-minute. You'll find many 5-minute trends within the 2-hour uptrend. As you can see, here's one that ends right there. There's another one that ends right there. There's another one that ends right there. And there's another one that ends right there. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? But that's why I like the 10-minute, okay? Because I can stay in it longer, all right? And it goes higher, okay? That's why. Not to say you can't trade every one of these 5-minute uptrends, but that's the reason I choose the 10-minute, because it lasts a little longer, all right, and it usually goes a little bit higher, okay? So there's QQQ, 5-10-minute uptrend, of course, inside the 2-hour uptrend. Again, we got all the bigger time frames supporting it. For the daily candle, let's take a peek. Another outside day, lower high, higher low, new all-time high, just like Judy said, for QQQ and SPX, okay? So let's pick back out here. This is quadrant lines. You can see price closing at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and still in an uptrend, okay? There's QQQ, bullish and still in an uptrend. Let's take a look at IWM. Okay, IWM, today's candle, all right, looking like a higher low and a higher high, closing over, see the yellow lines above it, so that'd be a bullish trap. Closing over a bullish trap, and over, let's see the green dots, over the 17 EMA, up at the top of, or near the top of quadrant 4, so that's bullish, and we're still in an uptrend right there on IWM, Diamond Dow. Okay, let's take a peek at Diamond Dow. And we've got a lower low and a higher high, and we closed over a bullish trap. See the 3s on top of the 8. Closed over the bullish trap and over the rising 17. That's the green dots. See how they rise up from the bottom and continue moving higher and higher. So there's Diamond Dow. That's in an uptrend, and that's at the top. See this? Top of quadrant 4. So that's bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. I think FNGU helped us out today. All right, FNGU, a little bit, not much. Not as much as I thought it would have. Well, that's disappointing. They better get going tomorrow. All right, anyways, let's see what the high is here. Obviously, we made a lower low. The high is 29.23, the high here, 29.23. So equal highs. Okay, so equal high but a lower low. Price action closing under a bearish trap again for the second day in a row. This is not funny. All right, this is not good at all. This is not what we need. All right, I'm gonna have to go look at the. I'm gonna go have to look at the volume zone oscillator after seeing this second day in a row. All right, we closed over the flat 17, but we're still under a bearish trap. That needs to end. All right, and then you can see this day right here. See, there's 2 more days under a bearish trap. That's 4 days. This one barely, not even over a bullish trap. This one closing inside of a bearish trap. That's not helping. That's helping a little bit, but not much. And you got the swords pointed in the wrong direction. Okay, so there you go. So that means bulls went up, and then bears took over at the top of the sword. See that? That's what that means. When you see the sword is pointed up like that, okay, we don't like that. Okay, that's not good. We like the inverted sword. All right, the one that points down, that's where bears come in, and then bulls took over and brought it right back up. Okay, swords pointed in the wrong direction there. There's FNGU, but let's look. Okay, we're still bullish. We haven't made any lower lows, not yet. Okay, got some lower highs, but no lower lows yet. Okay, here's the bottom down here, quadrant 1. That's quadrant 4. We're still up at in the middle ground of quadrant 4, so we're still bullish, and we're still in an uptrend. We're still consolidating over prior consolidation, but this is not the look I'm looking for right here. This is not spell confirmation. All right, that's FNGU on the daily chart. All right, let's take a look at some precious metals and maybe a few commodities like oil and gas. Start with GLD. All right, GLD inks out new all-time high. There's the all-time high right there. Okay, and we'll back way out. Okay, in the life of gold, that is the all-time high. Okay, it's never gotten any higher than that right there. Okay, so here's the quadrant lines. You can see we're at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, that's bullish. And yeah, and that's in an uptrend. Okay, nothing's broken on that. SLV, silver. Okay, that's a 14-year high. Not the all-time high, but a 14-year high. This green line up here represents the all-time high, right up there. Okay, so here's quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. This space up here, there is no quadrant 5. And no, that's not quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. No, this is quadrant 4. Okay, this is just space between the 14-year high and the all-time high, which is right up there, 48.50. So there's silver making a new 14-year high today. Okay, so there's silver. That's bullish. Okay, and then I mean, just look at the price candles. Is there any doubt that that's in an uptrend? Okay. Should have no doubt that's in an uptrend as they go higher and higher day after day after day. Okay, let's take a look at USO. All right, USO, again, likes to go up, give it up, go up, give it up. Okay, if it was in the upper third of the quadrant lines, okay, so that'd be like up here, that would be bullish. Okay, if it was in the lower third, that would be bearish. So we're just meandering around here on the midpoint, but on the bullish side of neutrality. Okay, if this was the 50-yard line, we would be in our opponent's territory right there. Okay, that would make them very nervous. Okay, so this what we're in scoring position. We just can't seem to hold the higher ground. Okay, they're just not ready yet. Again, still not ready. Okay, another month of not being ready. Maybe there's hope for them in October. We'll see. All right, but still holding right there. So it's just neutral, okay, because it can't hold the higher ground. So neutral, and still they made a lower low. See right here? See the low here? Now they're in a downtrend. So lower high, lower low, closing under bearish trap, under the wavy 17. And they made a lower low, so they're neutral, and now they're in a downtrend, but they're living on the other side of the midpoint, so that's good right there. Yeah, shows silver shooting star. All right, let's take a look at UNG. Okay, it's the shooting star pattern on silver. In case you're wondering what I said, text called that out. Okay, UNG. Okay. It's in an uptrend finally, okay, because we got a higher high. Target for UNG is going to be, you see this valley low right there? That'll be the first target right there. So wherever this is, 1397, okay, that's going to be the target up there for silver. So nice looking candle today, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17, wavy 17. Still in quadrant 1, so we're still bearish. Okay, we just hit uptrend status because we took out this low right here. So we're in an uptrend. Okay, And believe me, there's resistance right overhead, so we'll see how far it wants to go. Okay, but my target would definitely be this 1397 area for UNG. So UNG now in an uptrend, but still bearish. So this would be a pullback in the uptrend right there. Okay, so now they got themselves in an uptrend. This is a pullback. All in all, bear flag really. So it's a pullback in the bear flag right there. All right, so it's making it starting an uptrend. We'll see how far it goes. Okay, we got a higher low. Here's the low. We got a higher low, and now we just finally got that higher high. So starting an uptrend down here in quadrant 1. So there's UNG. Let's take a look at our technicals. And technicals, let's take a look. T2122. All right, this is the market breadth. You know, I thought we would be going higher. All right, with all those great numbers that we put out today. And we're losing more and more participation. Again, you can see now we start drifting back down to the reversal zone, which is right down there. I'm going to zoom out so you can see. This is the reversal zone down here between 0 and 959 right there. All right, so that's the reversal zone. And you can see we're losing more and more market breadth today. All right, as price hits a new all-time high. I don't know how that works. All I can think is, I guess if nobody's on the field, in other words, if your opponents don't have anybody on the field, it's going to be pretty easy to score some touchdowns. Okay, just saying, maybe that's it. All right, so we got a bearish gap down, and the bulls never filled a gap on that one right there. There's some market breadth. All right, so we'll see what happens here. Again, that FNGU, not liking the looks of that. T2122. So we came out of the seller's chop zone. Okay, and made a little higher high here. Here's the high. Made a higher high. Made some higher lows. Okay, but still nothing amazing really. Still spending the day in the buyer's chop zone with the majority of the time in the buyer's chop zone. Whereas yesterday, the majority of the time, or the day before, was majority of the time was in the seller's chop zone. Okay, so again, we got like a double bottom here and a double bottom here. Seems to be the thing, double bottom, double tops. But price action here up into the buyer's chop zone, making some higher highs and some higher lows on the 15-minute charts. Let's see what T2123 has in store for us. This is a 15-minute chart. Still that bearish gap from days ago, last week, still has not been filled. Okay, we're still underneath the 200 SMA. Okay, I'm not liking that. I don't like that at all. Not my favorite place to be, under the 200 SMA. Price action is in an uptrend because we made, you can see a high, and then I think we made a higher high here. Well, anyways, we made a higher high than this high right here. Okay, you can see how we made higher highs, those tips up there. So we're in an uptrend, okay, right now, and price action trying to find its way back to showing us really an inverted head and shoulders right here, small one, trying to find its way back up over the 200 SMA. So there's the 15-minute chart. Okay, now just finding a 15-minute uptrend right now. All right, let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. 3-bar chart, we're still up here, top of quadrant 4, so that's bullish, and we're still in an uptrend because we're still way up here. We still haven't made any lower lows. Okay, so there's T2123. Haven't made any lower. This is just a pullback in that uptrend. So this is a 3-bar chart. We're up over the 200 SMA. Hey, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU, which was not impressive. Okay, so this would have been right here would have been the spike candle. This would have been the 25th right here. This would have been the rubber band candle. We still have not closed below the rubber band candle on the daily chart right there. So price action for today looks like a gap down, and we just melted up all day. Not enough juice to get over the 200 SMA there. Okay, so nice green candles right here, but still not enough mustard, not enough spinach, to make a higher high. Really, needed to make a higher high, and I don't think they got it. I don't think they got it at all. All right, so there's a high right here. All right, and I don't think they got the higher high because I still see some of that up there. We can measure that off. High is 29.23. High is 29.23. So equal high. Okay, so no higher high yet. So still no uptrend has been established yet because we haven't made a higher high. Don't even have a higher low. All right, see, this is a lower low. That's an equal low. That's a lower low. So still in a downtrend there. So again, not a good look for FNGU. And this is the one we're counting on. This is the heavyweights. This is the one that has 10. It only has 10 securities in it. It's got 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and SPY. All right, so we need this to really keep performing. All right, if this, maybe it's tired. I don't know. Maybe it needs a break. All right, but we need this to keep performing if we're going to continue to go higher. So possibility, we may be looking at a pullback. Let's take a look and see what we got here on the VZO just to make sure. So I like to look at it on the 2-day. All right, I just want to see what the VZO says. And there it is, VZO. All right, on the 2-day. And we're looking at SPY. Okay, still nothing underneath the 9 EMA. So, I mean, we're still bullish. I mean, that right there, that's as bullish as it's going to get right there. I mean, that's pretty loud and proud right there, being up there at the highs like that and making a new all-time high. So you can see every time we miss coming over the 9, we put in one of these little red nugs, and we happen to pull back to the 17 or the 8 and make a little valley, okay? So you can see this little valley right here, and right here, there's a little valley right there, and right here, a little, well, not much, but a little valley right here. Then we got one right here, a little valley right there, and right through here we got a little valley, and then that's it, okay? In this uptrend, you can see that little valley right there. All right, so there's SPY, so that's it. VZO's not saying anything. FNGU's looking weak. T21, 23 getting weaker day by day. T21, 01 also looking weaker day by day. It was strengthening. Now it's turned back the other way to get weaker again. So we'll see what happens. We may be coming to a peak. Maybe we do need a pullback to reload on some spinach before we go higher. All right, so we'll see what happens here. Let's take a look at what I traded today on SPY. Didn't trade any QQQ. Again, I'm starting a small account, new 27K account every single week. All right, so here's where I left off. So here is here it is. Okay, so Monday was not
necessarily about day trading U.S. equities. They're talking about
this. Okay, so Monday was not a great day for me. All right, because I lost 1,800. Okay, you can see I lost over 1,800. Came back the next day with a vengeance, made 5K and more. All right, on that was yesterday, and today made 16. All right, so and 16 actually represents about 50% of my account. If you can see right here, 16K divided by 31K, all right, winds up being 52% of my account. So what did I trade today to make that? Well, first of all, I had a nice 10-minute uptrend. All right, that's the one that I like to trade. Okay, it's the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that's peeling away from VWAP right there. So I traded these right here, some 0 DT 667 strike calls. So those expired today at 4:15, and you can see I wrapped them up at about 1 o'clock. I said I don't want to deal with this coming into the close, not knowing if they were going to close in the money. So again, I bought them right out of the gate. You can see right there, picking off the lows. I said I'm buying this. I'm buying calls, and quickly this started generating some profits for me on this 667 strike right there. Also bought some 668 strike. Okay, so I had that going at the same time. I had the 667, bought the lows, and sold the peaks of these option candles. Okay, all I'm doing is I'm watching up top. Is my 10-minute uptrend still intact? And when I mean intact, I'm saying the 3 is up over the 8. All right, and the 10-minute uptrend still has daylight between the 3 and the 8. Okay, because chances are it's going to keep running further and further. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm buying the lows of the candles, selling the highs, buying the lows, selling the highs. You can see I'm doing the same thing over here. So that's 668 calls. Made 726 on those. 1,800 on some 669 calls. Again, buying the lows, selling the rallies up here. Okay, a little breakout. So I'm buying the lows of this consolidation, looking for the breakout, and of course selling to the breakout up there. So I made 1,800 on those, 3K on these 670 calls, 0 DTE. So all those were 0 DTE. They expire today. Okay, again, buying the lows of the candles and selling the peaks. Buying the lows, selling the peaks. Again, just buying the low and selling the peaks to end this. This is a 0 DTE. I really don't want to get stuffed with it, or stuck with it when the music stops. So I kind of ditch it and get rid of it before it winds up being a loss on my books. All right, so there's 671 DT, made $1,200 on that. Again, buying the lows of these candles and selling the peaks. Again, I spread out a grid of sell orders and let price run into my grid or my net of sell orders, okay? Like every penny or every 2 pennies or every 3 pennies, all right? And let price run right into it. Those were 670 calls 1 day till expiration. Here are 670 calls 2 days till expiration. Again, the same thing. All right, I'm buying the first thing out of the gate, buying the lows, trying to pick off the lows of these option candles and selling into the peaks right up here into there. Again, reloading, selling in the peak, reloading, selling into the peaks, reloading, reloading, selling into the peaks, reloading, and selling into the peaks, reloading, and then selling again over and over. Okay, just set up my net and let price run into it. You can see as price climbs all the way from 64 cents a share, all right, all the way up to, or a contract or a share, because it's 100 shares in one contract, all the way up to 196. That's a huge move, 64 cents, okay, up to almost $2 up there. That's a good size move for the day. Okay, you can see all in all, price move for SPY today started out here at 663, ended up here darn near 670, all right, 669.33, all right, so that was a nice move, 663, $6 move all the way up there, and then some change. So that was a beautiful move right up there. Of course, when you get that kind of move, you're going to get some separation between the 10-minute uptrend and VWAP. So that's really nice right there. Last one, 260 on some 675 calls. Again, buying the lows, selling the highs up there on SPY. So that's it. So I'll take questions in the room if there's any questions. Other than that, that's it. I do have a little bit of inventory that I'm going to hold until tomorrow. Not much. You can see I got 5 contracts of 670 that expire tomorrow at 4:15. And then these expire Friday at 4:15. 3 of those so far, and 11 of these that expire Monday at 4:15 right there. Okay, so today was a great day for me. It was very, very easy, as it was for a lot of people in the room. So, and congratulations to all those that made money in the room today. You guys did well. Okay, so Judy says earnings month's on us, and we're going to start reporting earnings from the banks in 2 weeks. That's exciting. Another round of earnings. Hughes did well in spite of FNGU. Seems some diversity was the name of the game today. Yes, that was a quote from Tex. I totally agree on that. Biogen, AstraZeneca, Micron, Datadog, Intel. Intel did great today. Lam Research, Regenerate. I guess those are some of the high flyers in QQQ, ARM Holdings maybe, or SPY. John, after what time during the day is it not worth buying zero DTs? Now, I'm buying some for hard, but I don't want to be holding a lot. Usually after before that volatility crush that starts showing up around 1 o'clock. It starts showing up around 1 o'clock. So if your 10-minute uptrend is done and it's like 1 o'clock or 12:30, it's probably not going to be good to hold the zero DTEs. Because I've seen them get crushed and they'll go from like 98 cents a share all the way down to, I don't know, like 18 to 15 cents a share. Okay, it's crazy. And to try to fight that while it's dropping is not easy. I've done it several times, and I can do it, but I tell you what, I don't like it. It's not easy. I don't advise it. Okay? Yeah, you get that volatility crush that comes in. Usually around 12:30, 1 o'clock, you'll see it. As soon as they start dipping the price in the afternoon, all right, you see price candles start making lower highs. They're going to start the volatility crush, all right, which means they're going to start melting down much faster than you can keep up with. So it's just insane how fast it comes down. And by the time they're done with it, they've gone from 95 cents all the way down to 18 or 15 cents. And sometimes your cost basis can be way up there at 32, even if you're just buying on the way down. And you need a massive uptrend in order to get this all the way up to 32. But the point is, by the time the uptrend takes over, okay, and it gets going, there's no time left in the day to reach your strike. All right, so that's why, around noon or 1 o'clock, start thinking about how you're going to exit those zero DTEs. That's what I do. Yeah, it moves faster than the uptrend. Unless this goes parabolic, it just does not move fast enough to keep that theta decay off your back. And it's real easy for hard, just to transition into something else. Move this over and just go shop for a 1 day. It's really super easy. You can even do it while you're weaning yourself out of the zeros. Just start thinking, okay, I need to get some 1 days, all right, for tomorrow or for the rest of the evening, so that way you don't get crushed. Now, believe me, the 1 days will get some theta decay as well. All right, believe me, okay, because they went up the same way your zeros went up, okay? But the 1 days will hold a little bit better because they still got another day of trading left in them, so they won't, they're not going to go to zero unless you got way, way, way out of the money right there. Okay? So that's that. All right, everybody, that's it for me. I'll see you guys all tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Don't forget, we do have the members e-learning, all right? How and when to wait for the trade right there. Okay, so boom. Hey, I don't know where this came from. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. Thank you. I'm so happy y'all made profits. That was awesome. Yep. See y'all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Let's do it again.